honor to talk to you. I'm so excited. I've been looking forward to this ever since like our initial conversation. My daughter is acting so bad. She's in her terrible twos. And boy, she's like, can you hear her?
I can't hear her.
You can't? Okay, good. She's like far away, but it's getting closer and closer. Um, I'm not going to keep you very long. I'm just so inspired by my students when, they start seeing results, big or small. It makes me feel so freaking good and proud and just happy to see that all my hard work is paying off. It's one thing to have results for yourself, but when you can help other people get those same results or similar results, that's transformational. And that's really why I started coaching in the first place. So
Mhm.
I'm so thankful to you for taking time out of your busy day to speak with me and
Of
just give
course.
me your 2 cents about your experience overall. And I want you to be transparent. I want you to be open with me, because this is stuff that, yeah, that matters to me, 100% matters to me. And I really want to inspire and motivate your peers in the program, the ones who feel like, there's not light at the end of the tunnel, or who are having self fear and self doubt and just all that stuff. So we'll talk about that as well. If I look over to the right, it's just because I have some questions just to help me stay focused, and whatnot. But I'm gonna just start off. Are you ready? You good? I'm just gonna start off with a quick introduction of myself.
Mhm.
Um, Super quick, and then I will get to you, and I will ask you some basic questions. So, Lisa, thank you so much for being here today. I really appreciate your time. My name is Chelsea, you guys. I go by Honey Gold on social media. And today, well, first, let me start off by saying I am the proud, super proud owner, CEO, and instructor of a dropshipping program called Pennies of Gold, where my focus and my goal is to help inspire other female entrepreneurs, women, boss babes to learn how to make money in the online space, specifically drop shipping. Drop shipping has done wonders for my life as well as many, many other people's lives. And as soon as I started getting results in this industry, I knew right away I needed to pay it forward and help bring other women with me along my journey, because it truly has been a life changing experience and life changing skill sets, I think, is really what it is. Would you agree, Lisa, that it's
Absolutely.
the skill sets that are what makes it so important and just big? So, thank you for being with me today. You guys, I'm interviewing one of my students. Her name is Lisa. And recently in our weekly meetings with Pennies to Gold, we had the opportunity to kind of exchange some information, and she let it be known that she's had amazing success with the Pennies to Gold program in a fairly short period of time. I think you joined. Well, I'll let you tell us a little bit more about that. But let's start off, Lisa, with tell us what you were doing before Pennies to Gold. Like, what did life look like? What was the day to day for you looking like?
Sure. Well, first of all, let me just say thank you so much, Chelsea, for this opportunity. I'm a little like awestruck. I'm just like, because I always see you on the weekly calls, but it's great to kind of have this one-on-one time with you. So I'm a mom. I'm a mom of four. I have children ranging from 22 all the way down to 3. Um,
Woo,
and I know. So yes,
girl.
3, 9, 13, and 22. And in my day to day, I run a nonprofit in New York City. I'm passionate about working with the underserved, and I've done that pretty much my whole career. And so I do a lot with operations. Um, and so I have always wanted to have some sort of online business. I have a Facebook page called Chief Mommy Officer that I've had now for the past 4 or 5 years. And I've just over time been building followers. And when I started with doing my drop shipping store, I had about 30,000 followers on Chief Mommy Officer, which was
Nice.
exciting, but I was like, what am I doing with these people? Like I would post quotes or just like information, but I felt like I wanted to do more and I wanted to make it more revenue producing. So that was really the reason why. And I wanted to start an online store forever. And I just would get overwhelmed with the technical aspects of how to do it. And so I would just find myself saying, okay, well, forget it. I can't get it done. And then the pandemic hit, and it gave me, I'm working remotely from home from my other job. And so it gave me more time on my hands, if that's even something with 4 kids, but I did have a little bit more time on my hands to be able to try to do something for myself. And so I was just researching online one day and I came across your information and your page. And I think the first thing I was nervous about was whether or not I could do it, because I'm not really my husband works in tech, but I'm not technologically savvy at all. And so that was always a hindrance for me, I think, from even trying to start an online store. I was like, I can't do it. It's too overwhelming. But I started to do a little bit of research, and I had researched other drop shipping coaches. But when I saw your page and kind of got to know you a little bit better, remotely, I connected, I think, on some things that you said. And I looked at some information. And so I ultimately said, you know what, this is my moment. I may never get this time again to invest and try to do this. And ultimately I decided, okay, I'm going to start. And so I signed up with you. I took the dropshipping course.
When
Um,
was this? Was it August? Or am I
it
making
was, my store, yeah, it was around like September, end of August, September. And my store launched right before Thanksgiving of last year.
okay. So you moved
Um,
pretty quickly. Like you were going through the modules, and also were you, because I have students sometimes that prefer to go through the entire 7 weeks to kind of get an overview of what to expect. I don't necessarily recommend that route, but
mhm,
hey, whatever. And then
mhm.
they go back and start implementing, or are you the type that went through module by module and actually executed at the same time?
So I went module by module. So like every week I was listening to the module and doing the homework, listening to the module, doing the homework and building and building and building. Um, and I set my goal that I was going to launch right before Thanksgiving. And I hit that goal.
Yes,
Yeah.
you
Um,
definitely did. You've been on it.
yeah, I was on it. I was listening. I was like taking notes. I had a notebook. I was like, so I would literally sit here in the evenings after I got the kids together, and I would do the module, and then I would do the homework and start to build. And I did it literally for those 7 consecutive weeks. And then at the end, right before Thanksgiving, I was ready to launch. Um, it wasn't though without a lot of challenges, because again, I wasn't technologically savvy. And although the modules were, I will say, very user friendly, and it was very easy for me to follow along, and I took like crazy notes, I still had, I think, mentally just nervousness about, oh my God, if I don't click this right or do this right or whatever, is it going to launch? Is it going to happen for me? And then also the other piece of it was trying to find products to actually put in my store, and going through the whole process of trying to pick a winner. That was a little bit nerve wracking, and because I wanted it to work so bad. So
You wanted
yeah.
it to be right the first time. I know that feeling. I remember that feeling. You second guess every single decision that you're making,
Yeah.
because you're just like, anything can make this go wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
Good. So let's talk about some of those challenges. Like, I
Mhm,
know you said you're not a tech savvy person, neither am I. And that's exactly what has held me back. I relate to what you just said so much, because that has held me back from a lot. Like, I've
mhm,
always known, ever since I got exposed to the online industry, I always knew like, there's money here, like
mhm, mhm,
online industry. But I always was like, I'm not nerdy like that. Like, that's for
mhm.
like super techie, geeky, creative, and I don't really fit any of that, to be honest with you.
Right.
But what is it that, or what did you do to kind of help you with those challenges?
Mhm,
Did you have to, go on Fiverr and have people do things for you, or did you
mhm.
have to attend more Q&A calls? Like, how did you fight through the uncertainty and things like that?
So I definitely went on Fiverr a few times to get some ads made initially, because again, I just was nervous about that piece of it. And then the other thing is I used your web developer
Okay.
to develop the website, because I think that was probably the biggest piece that I felt like I I want to get this right. And I didn't want to completely overwhelm myself. And so when that option was afforded to me, and thankfully I was able to have a little bit of extra money to be able to put toward that, I said, I'm going to do that. And I definitely, if you have the money to do that, I would definitely recommend it, because that took all of that away. And I was able, and he was really great to work with. And so I basically told him like what my vision is, or what I was trying to do. And he brought that to life. Like, I'll never forget when he sent it to me and I was like, oh my God, it's my store. Like, I was so
Yes,
excited. I was so
yes.
excited to
It's
see
always
it.
a
So
tearjerker moment to see something that you've mentally and physically just been working so hard on. Even just thinking about can be so draining. Just
yeah.
I remember laying in bed and just constantly thinking about, oh my God, is this product or this niche or that category or the layout, the colors,
Right.
just constantly just thinking. And so to have a professional be able to come in and be like, you know what, I see where you're going with this. Let me put my expertise,
Yeah.
combine it with your vision.
Yeah.
And just, I'm so glad. He wasn't always a part of my program. It kind of went over my head that,
Yeah.
but in doing these launches and being able to communicate with my students on this deep of a level,
Hmm.
hearing their challenges, it really made
Hmm.
me sit back and be like, okay, what kind of tools do I have that I can, resources do I have that I can offer to my students to help simplify this just a little bit more?
Hmm.
And when that popped in my head, I was like, man, I think that this is going to be golden for people. Like, I really think
Hmm.
this is going to help. And it really has, because I can honestly say the people that have done the best in my
Hmm.
program overall, whenever I talk to them,
Hmm.
they always have hired him to do their stores.
Hmm.
Because let's
Hmm.
face it, like when you're like you and I, and you're not a tech savvy person, sometimes you have to kind of fall back on people
Yeah.
who are tech savvy in some
Yeah.
way. But overall, would you agree that outside of even that part of, and it's nothing that you couldn't have done on your own, and
Hmm.
same with me, like we Shopify does make it simple to do
Hmm.
it, but when you're a busy mom and things like that, it's kind of like we're working with small bits of
Hmm.
time and windows of opportunity here. So
Hmm.
like you said, if you can afford that extra $200-300 to invest in someone else who can get it done in a week or in a
Yeah.
few days, it's kind of like, come on, you're
Absolutely.
either going to invest with the sweat equity and
Yeah.
take longer periods of time but
Yep.
save some coins,
Yep.
or you're going to invest for those shortcuts. And so
Yep.
I'm really glad that you chose to do that, because I think that's had a big that's a lot to do with the reason
Hmm.
we've been able to make sales so soon, because
Hmm.
honestly, it's a 7-week program. So a
Hmm.
lot of times when I meet people, they're like, how long is it going to take to start making money? And ultimately, if that opportunity or that decision is up to you, because if
Hmm.
you're going to take 7 weeks just to go through the program before you actually implement any of it, it's going
Hmm.
to take you a few months. Like,
Hmm.
but the fact that you were diligent about doing the homework while you
Hmm.
were learning and
Hmm.
hiring him as you were going, I think that
Hmm.
really helped you to hit your mark sooner. So I'm so
Absolutely.
happy about that.
Thank you.
Super happy about that. Okay, so overall, I think you've already told me, what you were doing before Pennies to Gold. You told me what made you jump in and take the course.
Hmm.
So let's talk about a little bit about that at the moment. What was it that you were going through or that you were thinking at the time when you felt that you even needed this opportunity or you wanted this opportunity?
Hmm.
Like, yeah, you saw an ad or you read information about it and you were like, oh, that's interesting. But
Hmm.
what were you going through in your life where you even wanted to take on being an online business owner at this
Hmm.
point in time?
I think it was definitely the pandemic was a turning point. I think I wanted to have multiple streams of income. I love what I do day to day in the nonprofit world, and I love working with the underserved, and that's definitely a passion of mine. And I will continue to do that in some way, regardless of how well the store does. But I wanted to have the notion of being a woman of color, having multiple streams of income for my family, being able to have money, additional money that I can put toward vacations or additional classes that my kids may want to take, or doing something good for my husband, or some money for me, right? That was very appealing to me. And I distinctly remember in one of the sessions that you gave, when you talked about building the store, and you said something to the effect of, because I had tried to do like an online store on my own, like just tried to like pop a website up and tried to do it. But again, the back end pieces was really what I was missing. And even when I tried to promote like different products that I would try to do as it relates to Chief Mommy Officer, I would get 1 or 2 sales, but it was pretty much my friends and family that were buying it. And I remember in one of the sessions that you said is that like, what's good about drop shipping is that you're not relying on your friends and family to make your store successful. It's really about complete strangers that are finding the ads and it relates to them and then they go on and buy. And I think that definitely resonated with me. And it was one of the reasons why I was like, Lisa, you have to push through, because you don't just want your friends and family to buy, like, I mean, that's great, buy 1 or 2 things, but you want hundreds of sales and thousands of sales. And so in order to do that, you have to set this up in a way that's going to make sense for the long term. And I think I always remember you saying that. And I think that was really important. And that was one of the reasons why I said, okay, in this pandemic, when I have a little bit more time, let's go ahead and do this right. Let's invest in this a little bit, which I think was another thing that was sometimes people don't do, is that it's not a quick fix. Anything that you do, you have to work at it. And, and first of all, taking the step to invest in your class, that's one mode of investment. But then, setting like your budget and like how much you're going to spend on ads. And, when your ad doesn't work, being able to be like, you have to spend money to make money. And sometimes you're going to put an ad that's going to be amazing and you're going to have a winner. And sometimes you're going to test something and the 3 days or a week, you're going to be like, nope, it's not working. Right. And I'm definitely finding now that the store is up and running, I'm in that mode now, I think, where I'm getting much better at, first of all,
Optimizing.
optimizing, identifying products. That was huge. I think going back again to the technology piece, because I let the guy set up the store for me, I was able to focus more on the researching of products. And I think that was actually helpful for me because I really honed in on that to kind of understand, what does a winner look like and how do I research to really find a winner. And I think my winner that I have right now I look back and I'm like, I'm so happy that I was able to really understand that piece of it.
Why, what was exactly. And that's something I'm so focused on as well. Like I tell you guys all the time, like I went to school for psychology. You can't just tell me go sell that looks like a winner. Why?
Yeah.
What makes it a winner? And that's why I created that checklist for you guys, because I feel like it's so important. Until you guys understand what a winner looks like.
Yeah.
Like now I could see a product at Walmart and I'd be like, okay, I get all these ideas of ads and angles and positioning and da da da. But until you kind of have that, you're just like, that product, what is it that would make it a real winner? So I'm so glad that yes, keep on going, girl. Keep going.
I got that.
I mean, this is just the beginning. You know what I mean? Especially since you have that network of, your Facebook group and things like that. Like once you kind of, and you probably already know because this is your group and your data and your analysis over the years, but once you kind of know what they like to eat, you can just continue to feed it to them. And the best part about it also is just the data. Once you have a group like that, that's so powerful, because now you have people that are willing to give you information in exchange for really whatever, a giveaway or contest. Like they just want to help you and serve you and be a part of something. You can launch a freaking t-shirt drop shipping style, print on demand style with a cute phrase logo. They will eat that crap up. And then not only like, then there's the mugs and the slippers that go with it. That's how we launched Shop Legally Rich, all because we knew we sat there and we were like, okay, we know how to drop ship now. Who do we have in our lives that are really supportive? Friends, family. But one thing about it is Brandon still had a lot of friends in the streets. And even though he wasn't in the streets anymore, he had a lot of people that really looked up to him and wanted to still be a part of and still be connected to him. And, a part of me was like, you need to cut all those people off, like leave those people behind and in the past and da-da-da. But he was just like, nah, like they're still coming to me for the plan. They're still coming to me for the next move. And so, we try to hit them with drop shipping and things like that. But again, you got to meet people where they're at. And, people who are in the streets and stuff, they're not really looking at the internet like, oh, let me just start an online store. So we thought, you know what? Let's bring them in on our community of Shop Legally Rich and help them be proud to be legally rich. Like, let's do that. So we brought that to our network and they ate it up so fast, and that data. So what I'm saying is I hope, and I'm not sure if you have tapped into the fact that, with lookalikes and things like that,
Mhm,
you get your emails from that list,
mhm,
and whatever it is, if whatever it is that you're selling them is, related to anything specific like that, those
mhm.
lookalike audiences could go very, very far for you. So,
Absolutely.
oh, I'm just so excited for
I
you.
I actually wore your shirt today in
Oh my God, look at
I knew you I thought you'd
so
like that.
happy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you're so special. I can't even I don't know why I haven't thought to do these interviews sooner, to be honest with you. I think I'm just so hung up on just making sure my students are okay throughout
Mhm,
the process,
mhm,
that once I know that they've made a sale or two, I'm like, in my mind, they go from being here to being here. Like, I know
uh-huh,
my babies are okay now. They're grown
uh-huh.
now. Like, they're now. Now I have to still be strong and supportive for the people who are still doubting themselves. I feel like I have to be the strength, their muscle in the beginning. And so
Mhm,
I focus all so much on the beginning parts that I
mhm,
forget about the progress and the accolades and just the movement of all the
mhm,
people back here. So I'm
mhm,
just so glad, my team was like, let's hear from some of the people who are actually okay, not just
mhm,
the struggling ones, like the okay ones. So
mhm.
this is just this is gonna make my whole day. Like, I need stuff like this. Like, all I hear about is all the negative, crazy, nervous, anxiety moments all day long. I never
Right.
take time to really appreciate you guys for actually seeing through the program. Such a small amount of people statistically, when you, even if it's an ebook, if it's a course, a project, whatever, such a small amount actually even get to the end. And that's
Mhm.
I think it's 7% actually complete a
Oh,
program, or
wow.
and things like that. So I do need to really show more respect and love for the people who make you guys, you invested in a project that took me a long time to produce for you guys, and you
Mhm,
gave it the respect that it deserved, and you saw it through to the end, and because of that you are able to see results in your life. And that's what I do it for, instead of focusing
mhm,
on the people who aren't even going to get past module 1 or 2 because
mhm,
they could care less,
mhm,
about their future, really, because that's what it boils down to. And you
mhm,
have to want this for your future, for your
mhm,
kids. Of course, now you can make your 22-year-old watch, and they can
mhm,
start their online
mhm,
store. It's really powerful stuff when you really make that decision to break generational curses and
mhm,
educate our youth in a different way outside of college, and
mhm,
those things that will always be there. It's like we're in 2021, like the world has
mhm,
gone digital, and this is just so amazing, to
mhm,
lead by example, and have your kids look up to you and see you living your life and doing things
mhm,
on your own terms, not having to answer to a boss. You're
mhm,
already a philanthropist, paying it forward to your community. And now
mhm,
this is just so powerful to me. I'm so grateful, honestly. Let's see, what other questions do I have for you? So overall, how would you describe the course overall? And you can be completely honest with me. What was your take on all the modules, just everything, the
mhm.
experience overall?
Mhm. So overall, it was fantastic. It was very user friendly. I think it was very easy to keep up with the modules, and I'm hyper organized anyway, so I would just kind of have my notebook. I love that the modules were recorded, and I could, if I couldn't catch the live, I could go back and look at it, because with the kids' schedules and whatnot, sometimes I wasn't always able to get the live, but I would just go on that week and just watch the recording and then take my notes, and then usually it would be toward the end of the week, usually on Sundays, I would then try to implement whatever was told to me in that module to kind of keep pushing forward. So eventually I had my system of how I would do it so that I would get to the end of the week, and I think, or the end of the course. And I think that was really helpful. I think because it was so easy to follow, and especially the technical aspects and just the researching part. I think, you emphasize the right things at the right time for us to kind of know as the weeks progressed, where we are and where we needed to go. I think that was really helpful. I think when we got toward the end and we started to do the Facebook ad piece, that was worth, that could have been a whole course in and of itself. I mean, that was worth its weight in gold. No pun intended. Honey gold. um, but that was really helpful. And I think, I think one of the reasons why I really tried to hone in on that piece of it as well, to make sure that I really understood about the ads, how to launch them, how to put them together, all of those pieces. So I think overall, and I think my entire family at this point knows who Chelsea is. Like I'm like, oh, Chelsea, like I watched Chelsea this week. And they're like, oh yeah, Chelsea. Like, like they know who you are.
Right.
It,
Yeah, because
yeah, for real. Like I think you kind of became a part of my world for those 7 weeks because I was really trying to focus and learn it. And so I think for any person that considers themselves an entrepreneur but has never done anything like this, it's so easy. And I think it's just about taking that first step and I had the passion and I know I had the willingness and I know I wanted to do it and I know I wanted to make it a success. And so I go back to what I said about just taking that time to invest, going through the 7 weeks, sticking with it, making time for it, right? We're all busy. We have all these things going on. And in the pandemic, it's just even a more heightened sense of awareness. But, taking that time to kind of devote to it, I think is what made the course a success for me. And I think I'm now going to be able to take that information and just continue to build and grow and take my store wherever, wherever God wants it to go. So I'm excited about it.
I'm so excited for you. I'm so excited. So I like what you said because that's some real talk right there. Like at the end of the day, even though I did put my heart and soul into this program and I literally gave you guys every detail of, you know, anything that I thought would help you in any way, it's not a magic trick. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't really take the credit because if it wasn't for you and your diligence of truly wanting this for whatever, what would you say, like if you could pick one thing, like when there were times when maybe you were frustrated and like kids, everything just, maybe you didn't want to necessarily give up, but what's your true why that made it to where before you had the validation of your first sale,
Mhm.
what kept you really going to even know if this was a real thing? Because maybe you could have been like, maybe this worked for Chelsea, but I don't know if this is going to work for me right now. This is taking longer than I thought. Like, what were some of your down moments and how did you pull yourself out of that?
So I think leading into the November week that I launched, I mean, I definitely had a few days of like complete tears, right? Because I had a date in mind of the day that I wanted it to launch, and I wanted it to be right before Thanksgiving because I felt like Black Friday was coming, and hopefully, like I would be able to take advantage of some of that. And so, trying to make sure that every little piece of what I needed to get done on my checklist and on your checklist that you were giving us, like my anxiety was like kicking in and I was starting to be like, oh my God, am I going to hit the date? I think my why is definitely my family bar. I'm doing this for my family. I mean, I have a job and I do have a salary, right? My husband works. And so we feel blessed that, we're able to provide for our kids. And I know everyone is not always in that place, but I wanted more multiple streams of income. I wanted 2021 to be the final year that my kids could look at me and say, Mommy finally launched her store. She's been talking about this forever. And now this multiple stream is going to give me an opportunity to give my kids even more, and even my husband, even more things outside of paying the rent, paying the mortgage, paying the electricity bill, paying the whatever. It's really going to give me that additional supplemental income to take us even higher as a family. And that's really why I wanted to do it. I wanted to have those additional moments of, sales coming in. Don't make me cry. um, that was my why. That was my why. And so that in those couple low moments, or I wouldn't even call them low moments, but in those anxiety moments when I was pushing through to the end to get to my date of launch, and even my kids got involved in it. I mean, like I was literally at the computer, like moving this here and checking this there and checking the settings. And do I have all my stuff and they would like walk by and be like, Mom, like, how are you doing? Like my 13-year-old, my son, he'd be like, you're almost there, Mom. Like, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Like, don't give up. Like they got very invested and involved in seeing me sort of as a role model for them that, whatever they can achieve in life, whether it's like starting a dropshipping store or do it dancing or, whatever their goals are, that they can reach them. And I think this was really more than just launching the store for me. It was, first of all, it was accountability that I can do it, right? So now I feel like I can do anything. Now I'm like, now I want to scale it up, and now I want to like start another one. And I, like I have all these ideas of just goals that now that I've done this initial one, I know that I can do it. And because I have had a little bit of success in terms of like sales and seeing the fruits of my labor have now come to fruition, like to hear that little cha-ching from Shopify. I remember when you told us that, and like, when I hear it now, I mean, my whole house erupts. They're like, "Oh my God, Mom got a sale!" Right? And now that I have a winner, or I feel like I have a winner, and I'm starting to get that happening much more often, that is just like, now I feel like the sky is the limit, and now I can do anything. And so I definitely, say to you, Chelsea, like you've been a friend in my head. I think I've said that before, but just watching you, and even like your Instagram page, and even after I went through the 7 weeks, I still kind of keep up with you and like what you're doing. And I think you've definitely been very inspirational to women that, and especially women that are moms and have very active lives and a lot of things going on, that we can do it. And it's just about finding those little pockets of time to go through a course, or take it at your pace and get it done, and you can achieve your goals. And I said I was going to come out of 2020 with the store, and I came out, and now I'm on the other side of it. And I feel very hopeful in terms of where I can take it. And, like the sky is the limit. And I hope one day I'll be as successful as you are with your store. But even if I only make the amount of sales that I'm making right now, I feel just very excited that I did it and I accomplished the goal. And so now, like I was telling you guys in the group, I'm at a place where I'm starting to actually think of campaigns, and like I did an Easter campaign, and now I'm going to do a Mother's Day. Yeah. Now I'm like the wheels are like churning, and I'm like, now that I've been able to identify one winner, that's been really great for me. Now I'm like hungry to like find the next one. And so it's just been really just fantastic for myself as a person, as a woman of color. Like it's just been amazing. And it's been amazing for my family. And I think for my kids to see me, and even my husband's been so like, I thank him so much, because I'm always like bouncing ideas and like, babe, what do you think about this? And like, he's like, oh, let's try this campaign. Like, we're just like, it's become kind of like a family thing.
Family business, a
Yeah.
family thing.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I love that they, kids, they need that example. They need to see their mom fight through something and make it out on the other end. That's such an amazing story. I love it. I love to hear it. How would you say, I feel like, I have a lot of students, so I can't remember specifically, but I feel like there was a point in time when you were in the chat a lot asking questions and things like that.
Mhm.
How, what would you say, the course is one thing, but the chat and the community, how was that helpful to you in any way? Or like, what can you say about that? Did you have an accountability partner in there, or are you more of a solo family? What was your style?
Mhm.
Did you come to
So
a lot of Q&A? Like, how did you use the community aspect of it?
sure. So I definitely came to as many live Q&As. I like the live, because I just like the interaction and whatnot. But like I said, if I couldn't catch it, I would always have a day that week that I would go back and look at it. So that was one. And I did that diligently every week. I was on time with the next one. So I know everyone can't always do that because lives are busy. But if you can do that, I recommend that, because you just stay focused, and it's going in order of what you need to do to get to the end to build the store. So, kind of keeping in order was helpful for me. In terms of the group chat, so yes, definitely when I was going through it, it was very helpful, because you're doing things, and people, like my cohort was doing it at the same time I was doing it. So, I would be like, hey, like when the settings, what did we click again? And like, which module was this or that? And so being able to go in the chat and have someone from the community who's going through
Somebody's going to
exactly
be awake.
somebody, right? Somebody is there to be like, oh no, it was module 3, and like it was module 2 or whatever. So that was like super helpful. And then being able to go in the chat and search. So like if you're looking for a specific topic, which I still do now, I'll go back and just search and just say, hey, like I'm looking for this. And then you can go back and kind of see what other people have said. I think that has been really, really helpful. And so I think now that my store is launched, and what I've been doing, and I've gotten like people like messaging me back, is I'm trying to be of inspiration to others that I did it and you can do it. And so that's why periodically, now that I feel like my store is more settled and now I'm kind of working on scaling it and doing other things, I always remember those moments where I thought, oh my God, am I going to be able to do this? Or like, is my store going to launch when I want it to? Or did I click all the settings and everything on the back end and now it's getting ready to launch? Did I miss anything? Like, is my Shopify set up? Am I going to be able to get paid correctly? Like all these things that were going through my head. It's a
There's
lot.
so
It's
many
a
pieces.
lot.
There's a
It's a
lot of
lot.
pieces
It's
for
a
sure.
lot of pieces. And I find myself when I'm in those, now that I'm out of those moments and now kind of just maintaining and managing and scaling and trying to do other things with the store, I just felt compelled in moments to go back into the chat periodically and just kind of say like, hey guys, I did it. You can do it. It looks like it's becoming somewhat of a success. Like I'm feeling really good. And wherever you are in the process, just keep going, because
That's
if
the
you
big
stop, you don't want to stop. You don't want to look back and have regrets on like, oh, I wish I could have done it. And everyone in the chat has invested, in wanting to take the course. And so my best message to everybody is just like to just keep going. Whether you have to go back and look at a module again, which I had to do a few times, like as we got more into the Facebook ad part, I would go back and look at the module again just to make sure that I got all the pieces of what was trying to be conveyed. And like that's okay, but the important thing is just not to give up, keep going, because you're going to get to the end. And once you get to this side of it, which sometimes you can't see when you're going through it, but when you get to this side of it and your store is launched and you start to see those sales coming in, that feeling is like almost addictive. Like you're just like, oh, I got a sale, another one. Like,
Remember your
okay.
first sale? Do you remember your very first one?
I remember it like it was yesterday. It was actually overnight. Like it was, so I woke up and the next
Ah!
morning and I looked at the little Shopify app and I saw, I think it was actually two sales that, the two was there. And I literally was like, ran down, oh my God, I got it. It worked. It worked. So then I like pulled out my laptop and I was checking and I was looking at the ads and where did the sale come from and who bought this and what city were they from and where was it and da, 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 da. Like I mean I just like absolutely lost it. I was so excited.
Isn't it like a real moment, like a stranger, especially when you're sleeping? Like I had never made money in my sleep before. And so to wake up to not one, but two sales, it's like, oh, hell no. I've been working really hard my whole life. And there's ways to make money while I'm sleeping. Hold
and
on. Why don't
and I remember you telling us that when we were in the course, like, that can happen, right? I remember you telling us that. And so but to actually have it, first of all, to get a sale, whether it came in the morning, night, noon, whatever, like to have that gratification that yes, the store is up, it is launched, and someone bought into your ad, they liked what they saw, they went through the whole funnel to be able to purchase the item is just like, and so then from there it becomes very addictive. So there will be times that I'll put the kids to bed and like my husband will be downstairs watching TV. He'll come upstairs and I'm like on my laptop, like, okay, so let me just see, what am I doing now? Okay, so what other ads can I think of? Or let me go research some more. Let me try to find
so
like,
fun, right?
yes,
Like
yes,
when you finally have proof that this is a real thing, all you want to do is get creative. Like,
yes,
girl, I'm telling you, I target like the most off the wall things
yes,
because I'm just like, no, everybody wants this. Like,
right,
it could be a wine lover, a shoe
right.
lover, a doorknob installer. Like, I target every. That is hilarious. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I love this so much. It makes me so happy. So overall, like, who would you say, if anything, if there isn't even a specific type of person or whatever, but who would you say this program, this coaching, this business model is perfect for? Like, would you recommend this business model to other people, or
Mhm.
do you think it has to be a certain type of person that would be good at drop shipping, or do you think anybody? What do you think?
I think anyone who has the drive and the passion to want to go into this online sector of business can do it. I think whether you're college educated or not, whether you're a teacher and you just want to have some additional income, whether you're a stay-at-home mom and you're very fulfilled with taking care of your kids at home, but you just want to have some additional money, or whether you want to make this your full-time, like this will be my business and my single way to make income. I think anybody can do it. And I think that's really the beauty of it. And I think the fact that it's so like mobile, like, I can I'm literally running my business from my phone, right? Or if I have my laptop, obviously, but like, so I can go be picking up the kids and like get a sale. And I'm like, oh, let me check and see like where that sale come from. And like, is my ad running? Did it cut off? Like, let me make sure that that's going good. So like, I love that flexibility of it. And that really can be for anybody. I think all you need to have is just that passion to want to fulfill going through the course, doing what it takes to set up the store appropriately, doing the research for your products, to try to hit that winner. And then or even if your first product isn't a winner, but you get a few sales from it, right? That's learning, right? And so the pixel is learning, and so that's great. And so there's different levels of it, but I think the overall, like, the most successful person is the person that's going to want it. And I think that, I feel like I was not going to leave November 2020 without this store being launched. Like, that was my goal. And so I pushed and pushed and pushed and said, nothing is going to stop me. And I think having that passion, you could be from any area of the world or any sector of life, as long as you have that passion. I think what you have said time and time again, because I know you're a mom, is, and I always, like, my heartstrings always sort of peak for the moms out there, because I know we're like trying to do a million different things. I'm definitely there. I have 4 kids. My days are always filled, always busy. But having something, this store is like something for me. And I love that. And so I definitely think that moms out there that are looking for that, whether you're stay at home or you're working mom, you wanting to have something for yourself, I think that's another really good, successful, like, niche of a person that could potentially be interested. Yeah. I mean, it's just like, we as moms, we often, we give so much. We give to our partners, we give to our husbands, we give to our significant others, we give to our kids, our family. Like, we're the nurturers of the family, and we own that, right? Because we decided to be moms. But having those moments where I can sit down, the kids are settled, and I can just sit in front of my computer and like look at, like, okay, so how did my store do today? And like, what are my campaigns? Or allowing myself to use that creative outlet to like develop campaigns. And looking at my budget, and now that I'm starting to make sales, and saying like, how can I start to scale up my ads so that I can do more with the budgets that I have? And that in of itself is worth its weight in gold to do something like this. And so, I just say to moms out there, like, you can do it no matter how busy you are. It's just about having that motivation, and whatever your why is, whether it's your kids, your family, whatever, just having that motivation. I think anyone can be successful in it.
I agree. 100%. I agree. How much would you say, you sound like you've been pretty resourceful. You seem like that's just a trait of in you, period. But I think that being a resourceful type of person also is a key here, because,
Hmm.
you know, the course in itself, yeah, it's great. I give everything I can possibly give and whatever. But if you're the type of person who refuses to embrace the business and the culture of drop shipping, and keep your ear to the streets in your own way, you're only confining yourself to my word, my experiences, my recommendations, my
Hmm.
resources. And that's great, but it's also a great thing for you to really dive in wholeheartedly to the drop shipping culture, vibe, lifestyle, and
Yes.
really find your own like groove in it a little
Yes.
bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think I appreciate when my students come to me and they're like, "Hey, I found this app and it's been working awesome, and I want to put you guys on to that." Or,
Yeah.
"Hey guys, I targeted this, and whatever it is, I
Yeah.
love that,
Yeah.
because there isn't just one way to skin a cat.
Right.
I created this program to open up, the your minds,
Hmm.
and let you know that there's this way of making money, and this is
Hmm.
the easiest way I found to do it. But I
Hmm.
love any feedback, tips, and whatever. So
Yes.
being resourceful, I think, is a big thing when you're starting any new business. You
Yeah.
know, you don't want to just rely on that one teacher and
Yep.
the course and just think it's end all be all right
Hmm.
here. Like,
Hmm.
no, feel free to experiment and test new things
Yes.
and get your feet wet and find your
Yeah.
own thing that you
Yeah.
like, you know?
Yeah.
So how soon did you start making money after launching? Was it a long
S-
time or?
No. So I launched the week before Thanksgiving and I got a few sales. And then I would say right after the new year, I think Christmas, like I was still kind of testing and what ultimately the product that became my winner, I started to see the engine moving from the beginning, but it definitely grew as I got to January of this year. And so then once I started to see that this could potentially be a winner because the sales started to kind of increase on the budget that I had it at, which was literally nothing because I didn't know what I was doing. So I was like, let me just start with like a small budget. Let me just like you taught us, right? Let me start small. Let me kind of build. But then when I started to
Like what was your starting budget?
$10 was,
Wow.
yeah, $10. Like I was like, because I was nervous, right? And I was
I
like,
get it.
this is like, I don't,
I'm
I
glad
don't.
I got to ask you this, because I think a lot of people, they think, and I was one of those people too. It stopped me from moving forward with my mentor initially because he came at me like, and he was being honest because now that you're in it, you can know that this is a fair statement. But I asked him, I just kept saying, okay, so in addition to the money I have to pay you to teach me, this is before I even jumped in. How much am I going to need for ads? And he's like, about and mind you, he was $240,000 a month was what he was,
Mhm,
so
mhm,
for him to spit out, all right, about 1,000 a month, about,
mhm.
just if you need a number, you're going to press me to give you an amount, just a budget of $1,000. And he said it so effortlessly. And I remember being like,
Mhm,
$1,000? Like,
mhm,
there's no way I can afford your mentorship, my
mhm,
rent,
mhm,
and $1,000. And that, honestly, him saying that held me back 6 months from hiring him. And
mhm,
then once I actually did hire him, and I realized that I'm starting my ads with $5 and $10 a day, I was like, I was pissed because I was like, why didn't he just take the time to tell me that I
mhm,
wasn't taking $1,000 and being like, here?
mhm,
I was eating it up
mhm,
in
mhm,
5 and $10 and $20 increments. By the
mhm.
time I hit 1,000, I better have made a sale. If you're
Right.
following my course and you spend 1,000 without making a sale, you need to start back from module one. So how much would you say you probably had to spend of that $10 a day budget or $10 per ad set budget? How much
Mm,
do you think you spent in total before you made your very first sale?
maybe $50,
Oh,
$100. Yeah,
unbelievable.
I mean, because what I did was before I even started the store, as I was building it, I was putting like maybe like 100, like maybe $50 or $75, $100 aside, so that by the time the store launched, I had maybe $500 or $600 that I said, okay, so this is where I'm going to start with my ad money, right? And this is what I'm going to launch. I'm going to take $10 here and $5 there, and I'm going to try to like figure out how I'm going, right? That was my thinking.
Yep.
And so then when I did my first product and ran the ad to it, which ultimately was a product that it has become my winner, I started like literally like $10. I'm going to start there because I have no idea how this is about to go. And so when I did it, I got a sale or two, right? And I remember even going into the group chat and be like, oh, I got my sale, right? Okay, guys, I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. And that was around November. And then December, January, the wheel started to turn a little bit more. So then I said to my husband, okay, I'm starting to get a little bit of sales on this $10. So now I'm gonna increase it because I'm feeling a little good here. I'm feeling positive, right? So he was like, okay, babe, go ahead. I'm with you, right? Go ahead, throw a little bit more in. I'm feeling good. And then January of this year is when it just like took off. That product took off. And so
What would
then I
you
was
say you're
like,
on track to do? What would you say your months are looking like on average? Like, what do you think you're gonna hit with this coming up?
so let's see, we're in March right now. So in March, by the end of March, I will probably be at about $3,000 a month.
Oh my God.
Um, and so and I still feel like I'm conservatively
Yeah.
scaling. Like I still
Yeah.
feel
I
like,
know, which is
yeah,
totally fine.
yeah.
There's nothing wrong with
I
that.
still feel like I'm conservatively scaling, but I'm feeling more confident to
Yeah.
do that. And so now, like my husband and I were talking about it, and I said, now, babe, I think I'm like, we have a winner, and I want to just let this winner take us to the sky's the limit, right? And so I was like, now I'm ready to really take it up a notch. And so we're working on figuring out how we're going to do that.
How we're gonna do that.
But yeah, it's
Duplicating, increasing your
yes,
budget,
yes, increasing the budget.
working for the $10 consistently and it's bringing you, let's say, 3 sales a week with that budget,
Hmm.
then when you duplicate it and you increase that budget, even if it's to 20
Yeah,
a day, you should keep that same energy, should
yeah,
keep coming, and then you just keep optimizing, keep
yeah,
narrowing down exactly who that target audience is, and
yeah,
then keep hitting them with
yeah,
more budget and more
yeah,
budget. And
yeah,
then you start seeing, okay, well, so, I was targeting high school teachers and that got me these results. Maybe
yeah,
now I should test kindergarten teachers. You keep
yes,
just, I'm just so
yeah,
excited for you.
yeah.
I'm so, so excited. This
Yeah.
is
So
amazing.
it's definitely coming together, and I've learned so much, and I feel like I said, now I feel like I really have a good sense of what a winner looks like. And so I like the product research piece of it is coming so much easier to me than obviously when I started and I was just trying to figure all of that out. And so like I was saying, now I feel like I'm in a place where I'm starting to like think about campaigns, and I've added a print on demand to my store, which I did that recently. So now I've been doing like some
That's amazing.
shirts, and my audience. So I have a general store. I sell a lot of things. But I keep my moms in mind. So a lot of the products that I've been running ads to have something related to the family or mom related, something that the moms will like, because I have chief mommy officer that has all those moms. So I'm starting to really utilize like marketing and just thinking through campaigns. And like I said, Mother's Day is coming up, so that's going to be a huge one, I think, for me. So I'm already like getting my Mother's Day campaign
I think
together. And
Mother's Day, or was it Valentine's Day? That was my first $1,000 day. And I about freaking lost my mind. Ooh, that was intense. Like, oh
yeah,
my gosh, I didn't even, and all the sales that had come in before that, they all amounted to more than $1,000. But when
yeah,
you make that first $1,000 day,
yes,
you're
yes,
like, I'm gonna be rich
yes.
forever. It just opens up such an
Yeah,
amazing feeling just to
yeah,
know you can do it. And it's
yeah.
really, I'm so excited for you. And yeah, you send out that offer, you use your resources that you have.
Hmm.
That's
Hmm.
amazing. Um, I'm so proud of you. I can't even
Thank
stress
you.
it enough, Lisa. I really am. So what's one thing that you can give me? How can I make the program better? What would you advise me, if I can add anything or change anything or do anything more better in some way? Like, what can I do to help even more?
Think. I mean, I feel like it was really comprehensive. I think one thing that I wish that I had had leading into the launch was someone to look at the store like on the back end. Like I wish I had had more time, because I that was what probably gave me the most nervousness, is did I click off every single thing that I was supposed to click off, or
Okay.
like in the settings, or like whatever. And although I went through all the checklists and I felt like I did, I felt like if I had had someone just to look on the back end for me and tell me, yes, looks like everything looks good. I did go through and I want to stress, like what you said about Shopify, they are just a wonderful, wonderful resource. I am like besties with them. I have anytime I've had an issue, I call them or I chat with them. They are wonderful. They have answered all my questions. I even got like an ad idea from one time when I was on with one of the girls. She was like, "Oh, have you thought about this for this product?" I was like, "Oh my God, that is such a good idea." So I like wrote that down, and I've been utilizing that. So I think that if I had to pick something, I think overall, Chelsea, honestly, the program is amazing. And I don't say that, I really did do my research before I signed up with you and looked at a couple different programs and tried to figure out what I thought would work best for me. But I think your whole philosophy, how you set the program up, how easy it is to go through. I think if the person is diligent and wants to get it done, they're going to make sales. It's just about having that focus. But I think that for someone like me that was doing it every week, when I got to the end, just having someone to just like check off and be like,
Yeah.
yes, that was
That's,
great. That
that's
was that was
good.
probably be
That's
the
a
only
great
thing.
takeaway for me. That's a
And I
really
think one other thing I would just mention, going back to what you said about like researching, is I did so much, like, and I think you said this in a module, like if you don't know it, or you feel like you didn't grasp it in the module that you're in, like Google. Like I Googled things. I went on YouTube and I was like looking at videos of ads and looking how other people did ads, and just especially when I was in that part, because the ad part, I really wanted to make sure that I got right. I mean, the ads are everything. And so I Googled and I looked at other like drop shippers. I like, there's a lot of YouTube videos about products, like what products are working. I look at those even now, like what products are good for spring and what products are good for summer. And then I'll go and like do my research. And so it really is what you make of it, right? It's just like anything in your life, like whatever you, if you want a store and you want it to be successful, it's not going to happen overnight. I think your course sets the groundwork and the foundation that if you do everything that you're supposed to do over the course of the 7 weeks or however long it takes you to finish it, you will make sales, right? That's going to happen. But then to make it a successful, what we would consider a successful business, which is like lots of sales, it's going to take work. And it's not just about the 7 weeks, but it's also about when you feel like you don't know something, or you want to get an example of something, or you want to like just check and see what others are doing, just Google and just, or go on Shopify and talk to the girl on the chat, and she comes up with ideas. Like, so that I think it was really, Chelsea, like little nuggets of information that, or little things that you would just say in the modules that wasn't even the content, but it was just kind of from your experiences that I would always remember. Like when you said, like, your friends and family are not going to be the only people that are going to help you be successful, or, Google things when you feel like you don't know it, or you want to just find examples. I think that is what sets you apart from other drop shipping like coaches and whatnot that can be out there. And I would also say that even though you have so many students and so much going on, and a lot of students in the chat itself, the course does have a feeling of like you're I'm your only student. Like, you have a way of making people feel like you're just working with them, even though you have a whole lot of people that are in the group. And the fact, and I'm in awe of like the fact that someone can ask a question in the chat and like you answer, right? It's like you put at honey gold such and such and such, and you're like, oh no, you go in module 2, or you're like, oh no, check this, or Google it, or like go on Shopify. Like, you know the work, you know the world, and you do a really great job of making people feel like they're the only student that you have, even though you have like a gabillion students, and you're a mom, and you're like doing all these things. And that was really important to me, because I had no idea what I was doing. Right? Like, I want to stress that to people who will watch this. I had no idea what I was doing. So I wanted to make it a success. But then when you decide to make that investment and you say you want to hire a coach, like, you want to feel, even if they have 1,000 students, you want to feel like they kind of know what's going on with you and your specific world, because everybody's journey in this is going to be different, and everybody's doing it for different reasons and whatever. And I will say, Chelsea, you did a really good job of doing that for me. Like, I felt like the fact that my family knows your name, like, and it feels very like one-on-one, even though it's a whole business that you have going on. And I think that's a unique quality that in any coach you would want. It's the same thing like if you're working with like a fitness trainer, like they may
yeah,
have a million
yeah.
fitness people that they're working with, but when you're in that session with them, you want to feel like they're focused on you. And I think you do have a really unique way of doing that and making people feel very comfortable about wherever they're at. And so I definitely, that was my biggest takeaway. And I think that's one of the reasons that kept me going through the 7 weeks and got me to say, I'm here right now. So that's definitely a testament
I
to you for
so
sure.
thank you, because I honestly, like, that's all I could want, like when I put this together, I was scared too. I'm like, are people going to want to learn from me? Like, are people going to like me? Am I going to be able to like connect with them? Like,
Yeah.
how am I going to grow and still be able to manage my family and them? All those things were concerns of mine. And I definitely give it my all every single day. I
Mhm.
truly give it my all. So I want to thank you so much
Of
for
course.
this. I really, this has been very eye-opening. You've given me such amazing feedback and things that I can take away and even make better and work on more. And I just feel so good. I'm so proud of you. You know,
Thank
the fact
you.
that you have kids, you're the perfect example of the type of person that I wanted to help with this program. I wanted to help moms. I wanted to help Black moms, women of
Mhm.
color, period.
Mhm. Mhm.
And, you know, just how resourceful you are is just amazing to me. You know, the fact that like, you know, you can pull out different things. I can tell like you really took your time to try to master different parts of the program as a whole. And the
Mhm.
fact that you have kids, like you could put your kids on Fiverr and have
Mhm.
them making money for doing product research for other
Mhm.
dropshippers.
Mhm.
You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like
Mhm.
you can give them little portions of the course, the web development part or
Mhm.
the Shopify backend part, and let
Mhm.
them list it. Even if they're
Mhm.
10, 12 years old, they can start
Mhm.
making a little bit of money just using
Mhm.
information, you know?
Mhm.
That's so powerful. And you taking the time to learn the ads and understanding like, okay, this right here is what's going to help. That right there is what I use to start several different programs, including
Mhm.
marketing pennies to gold. Had I not
Mhm.
mastered that part as a drop
Mhm.
shipper,
Mhm.
my course would have never reached you in
Mhm.
a different state than me. You have to
Mhm.
look at it like
Mhm.
that. Like, yeah, we start off selling little drop shipping products that aren't really going to make or break anybody's life, but that
Mhm.
same skill set that helped me sell that fidget spinner or that
Mhm.
necklace,
Mhm.
is the same skill set that has helped me make an impact by putting my program in front of you. And now you bought
Mhm.
it and it's going to change your life forever, going to change your family's lives forever because of
Mhm.
that one skill set with
Yep.
marketing. So, you know, my drop shipping product is now my heart is now into pennies to gold, and I push pennies to gold the same way I do my drop shipping products, but it means
Mhm.
so much more because it
Mhm.
comes with real change, it
Mhm.
comes with real impact, and that
Mhm.
makes my day
Mhm.
100%. So
Mhm.
thank you for this interview. I really
Anytime.
me, and I know when I send this to, you know, our students, I'm gonna really, I want them to hear from someone else's mouth other than my own how
Mhm.
possible it truly is. I
Yeah.
know you're gonna have touched so many people through your testimony, your story, your truth. So
Mhm.
thank you, Lisa.
Of
Really, this
course.
means everything to me. Thank you. I'm so proud of you. I hope your
Thank
store
you.
goes on to doing amazing things. You'll launch more, and you know you can help other people as well and get
Mhm.
paid for it as well, whether
Yes.
it's drop shipping or just how to believe in themselves enough
Yeah.
to take that first step. There's so
Yeah.
many possibilities, and now you really know that. If you didn't
Yeah.
before, you really
Yeah.
do. So thank you for your
Thank you,
time. I
Chelsea.
appreciate you. I'll never forget this. This really made me feel amazing.
Mm,
Thank you.
no problem. Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a beautiful day. Great
You
weekend.
too.
It's Friday, right? So,
Yes,
yes.
Friday.
And thank God. Get a day off. All right, girl. You have a great
Okay.
one. Bye.
You too. Bye bye.